Okie dokie, we're back again, and we are going to be jumping to some ranked games with a random character, and it looks like we are playing the adventure with a chaos game with the bag of giving. We also got ourselves a leather bag with a garlic also. So with the bag of giving, we're going to be getting some random items every single round because we're going to spend all our gold. So the less money we spend in round one, the better. We could honestly just sell these items and just rock this, because then we get 26 golds with another 1 and another 3. That's what, 30 gold? 30 gold for next round. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab ourselves a little tusk poker with our little piggy bank, and honestly I'm just grabbing this to inflict some debuffs. That's the only reason why I do want to take it, but this is going to be round 1. I spent every single bit of our gold, which is maybe not clever, but hey, we should be in a pretty good spot once we do craft up this little tusk poker. Because with our leather boots, we actually get 1 in power, which does increase our weapon damage, and we should be able to stack up a lot of spikes, get it 15 block, and then also flick those debuffs, slowing them down, making them miss, doing little bits of chip damage with our poison. And can we win round 1? Hell yeah, we can. Amazing. And with that, we got ourselves a big old bow. And I regret crafting this up because I'd love to craft up a tusk piercer, because that bow does crazy damage from the get-go. The good news is I'm going to start Flag Eric. and I'm going to take this shiny shell for a bit of a heal, but I'm going to have her twine in over this side, targeting our skull badge, because it does trigger pretty fast. It's going to trigger faster than our freaking bow and arrow as well as our little tusk poker. So stacking up our max health over this side, we get our monies, we get even more damage. Let's sell the garlic, and with that we are going to rock on with this. We should have some pretty decent damage with our bow and arrow, along with our little tusk poker, and scale up some of our max life with our skull badge, twine badge. So it shouldn't be too bad. We also get our bit of block, we get our power, we stack up some spikes, we inflict some poison. Our opponent does cleanse it with the health bot, and with the health bot they might actually be able to win this one out. We just might not have enough DPS to beat it. Okay, when I said might not have enough, we literally barely had enough. Now we do got a choice to make right now. We also got the rune badge, so we can inflict even more debuffs with our skull badge, which is kind of crazy. We also got a spear, which we could craft up into a very long spear, but I think we're going to sell the spear. Although we could keep the spear and keep it with our bow and arrow. I'm going to sell the spear. I'm also going to sell our little topaz, and I'm going to take level up. This skill is crazy. Every 5 seconds, gain 10 maximum health, 1 stamina, 1 mana, 1 luck. It triggers 10% faster for each round, which is just crazy. We're definitely going to take it. Now, crafting up a dragonite with the twine could be insane. So yeah, I'm going to reserve good old Goober. The problem is, with our bag of giving, we're kind of at the mercy of what it's going to give us. But I did move our skull badge into a rune bag, so we have the potential to maybe inflict 2 debuffs at a time. If you get lucky, so far we haven't got that lucky. I'm honestly just staring at this skull badge. 1 poison, some max life, 1 cold, it hasn't triggered twice yet. There we go, 2 poison. Literally 10 seconds into the fight. But hey, we did manage to win that one out. And I do love stone shoes. I mean, I'm just going to take our big old banana. And I'm just going to move on pretty darn quick. Because double boots means double in power. It also gives us crazy block, and we also take less damage from ranged weapons and pets. 60 block, I mean, is more than our opponent's max HP, making us incredibly defensive right now. And then we can scale up our max life with our level up. We can inflict some poison, some blind, some colds. And yeah, it's definitely not going to be close. Hell yeah. Now I could go big old burning blade if we want to, but I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to take the gloves. I'm going to take the gloves because, well, I was actually going to craft up claws attack, but we should probably craft up tusk piercer instead. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. But I'm still going to take the flame. I'm going to take the flame for now too. I'm going to take out our stone. I'm going to actually sell a stone. Do we want to keep our gooberts? I think I still want to keep our gooberts. But let's go ahead and craft up this tusk piercer. So we're going to do crazy damage with the sheer amount of spikes we're going to have also. So it shouldn't be too bad. Definitely shouldn't be too bad. Now our opponents does make us get our block. They're going to have that cupcake staff. They're going to turbo stack in power. Like us now tomorrow, and we could be in trouble because it's going to be so much damage. And we barely survived. The stone shoes actually making us win that one out. Although, that's literally a Darksaber Well, I think we've come across our builds instantly. I actually don't think we want Goobert anymore then. Although we could get a Dragonite. I'm also tempted to sell our gloves. I'm also tempted to sell a little Tusk Poker, even though that would stack up some spikes first, but I'm going to get rid of it. We're going to sell you too, and I will be taking this for now also. But let's take our Freeman's Guide to Ice, because I do want to grab this too, so we can inflict some cold if we want to. If we manage to get ourselves air bits of mana generation, which we do get with our level up. So we're going to be using our Darksaber to inflict some blind, but we're also going to be using it to stack up cold. And our Darksaber should be able to deal some big old damage with the Skull Badge. And yeah, this is definitely not what I expected. Hell yeah. Bagu giving us some craziness. Now speaking of craziness, that's a freaking spike shield. I mean a spiked wall. I mean, it's crazy not to take, is it not? We kind of have to take it. The only problem is we might have to take out our piggy bank with a leather boots, which is not what I want either. We can also craft up a mana orb, or take the mana orb so we can generate up some more mana for ourselves. But I think I'm actually going to put in these boots instead of this Freeman's Guide to Ice. Mainly just because I do like the bit of block over that small bit of colds. But we should be able to generate up some spikes more constantly, so our Tusk Piercer along with our Darksaber to constantly have that damage. And you know what? It's not going to be close. We do got a choice to make, and we got another pair of stone boots. We got our spiked wall. We got crazy. You're going to inflict some blinds by having it in our backpack. Or we can get some crits. We also got a cupcake, so we can stack up buffs infinitely. Holy moly, we got crazy items. Now, we really want to go Weapon Master here, mainly because this is going to inflict some more poison, which means we can do way more damage with our Darksaber. That's exactly what we want. The problem is we need to sell quite a lot to get that. So I think right now we are going to sell our Boomerang, and we're going to sell our cupcakes, much as I love to keep it. And one piggy bank, and we're going to sell or take our Mercury Elemental. Now at this point, I'm also going to sell one Flame, and our little Star Courage to go ahead and grab this. And I'm actually going to place in more boots. Just more boots for days. We're going to be rocking on with this. Now we didn't put a Mercury Elemental inside our rune bag, but that's going to have to be this way for now. We should be able to block a lot of damage with our spiked wall. We should be able to inflict turbo debuffs and have our Darksaber to deal some pretty decent damage overall. As long as our opponent does cleanse all those debuffs. Which right now we've inflicted quite a bit of blinds with decent bit of poison, but he did manage to get rid of quite a bit of it. However, it's not looking too bad. Hell yeah. Awesome even. Now speaking of amazing, there's a puzzle bag of insurance. And why that is amazing is because with our boots, we actually get that damage reduction for such a long freaking time. We also got our Goobert too. And another Spike Collar. Now the dream would be to take this Pestilence Flask and craft up another Poison Ball. But what is the chances of that? Do we even want to take it and go for Poison Dagger? I think I just venture on with this. I did move our piggy bank into this situation, so we can at least get some extra monies. Our opponent starts off with crazy amount of block with their Sun Armor. They're getting some Vampirism from the Blood Goobert. They're going to be getting crazy heat as well. But as long as we flick that blind, flick that poison, they are dealing some big old damage. But with Turbo Shelly, they're going to be cleansing a lot of those debuffs also. However, we did manage to win out once again. Not bad. And speaking of insane, we got a freaking Dead Side. It really wants us to take our Boomerangs. Now, which skill should we take? Should we take Guard Power or should we take Bag Tackler to make better use for bags? I mean, we've one Fanny Pack, one Protectable Purse, that's literally it. So Bag Tackler is actually possibly our worst skill to take right now. Fortuna's Kiss to increase our block chance on our Spiked Wall, going from 30% to 39%. Is that really worth it? I'm not sure if that's even worth it either. Do we just gamble here then? Gamble instead of Fortuna's Kiss. I mean, at least Fortuna's Kiss does give us a bit of a buff. I don't like taking Guard Power in this round. I mean, it's just going to give us a regen since we get empowered from our Stone Boots. So, yes, either Fortuna's Kiss, a gamble, or more stats right now. We sell our little Boomerang either way. Do we just settle for Fortuna's Kiss? I mean, it's probably the best we're going to get. Now we can also grab the Badger so we can scale up our max life also, along with our level up. I'm going to sell our little Spike Ball. As mad as it is, I'm going to take our freaking Badger. I'm going to sell our Goobert. I'm going to take our Mana Orb. I'm going to sell our bag of stones to roll again. And you're just free monies. Free monies. Now, I'd like to keep a piggy bank, but I'm going to sell it as mad as it is so we can take another fanny bag. And right now, I'm going to just venture on with this. Mana or being in this spot is really not great for us. But we should be able to inflict a turbo amount of debuffs with our whole setup. We should be able to generate up at least some mana, which should be kind of nice. But we do need a lot more mana generation, and I'm hoping that we can get ourselves a Moon Shields. That's for sure. Now our Spike Wall, again, 39% chance to block that damage. And we inflict Crazy Poison thanks to our Dead Sight and Amazing. Honestly, right now, we do only have a 30 DPS, which is not too crazy by any means. Our opponent did have invulnerability for such a long time too. In terms of heals, we have no heals really, 8 per second or 0.9 per second actually, with 70 max health gains. And in terms of block, 190 block. Do we try to continue this on or take 6 points? I mean, it looks like we're at least going to get +1 point. So why the hell would we not go further? Unless we lose literally every single round, I think we should be in a pretty good spot. So maybe we know. We got ourselves a Hyper Hedgehog, which is honestly kind of funny. Now, you know, I'm going to sell this and I will be taking our unstable recombobulator. And for this round, I'm going to take this out and then just going to let this recombobulate itself. But we can also craft up a pair of Divine Boots. With the Divine Boots, we still get our power, but we also cleanse 20 debuffs, which is going to be our poison. So I actually kind of want to take this. I don't tend to craft up Divine Boots as much as I should. But it will make us even more defensive. It'll cleanse all the poison we do inflict on ourselves. And we'll see how we get on. Going to begin a Weapon Master Double Axe. I mean, it's just going to be even more poison for us, and hell yeah. Not bad. And that's a big old ice dragon. And we got ourselves a wooden sword. Okay, maybe not so crazy. Wait, let's sell you. Let's also sell this too, and this too. And let's go ahead and grab ourselves a stamina sack. For sure. But I definitely want to keep this ice dragon. That is 150,000% going to be true. The only thing is, do we want to grab an ice block? I mean, we're holding on to a lot of items. But ice block also increasing that chance for colds whenever you do activate our shields, especially with a Fortuna's Kiss, I think is going to be too good not to take. But let's see if we can take on this cheesy 100% crit chance Bloodthorn. I mean, as long as we slow them down, as long as we inflict some blinds, we get tons of block. 147 block, by the way, from our boots and smashing. I mean, this actually turned out to be a hell of a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and that's a freaking puzzle bag of endurance. And we can actually craft up a Cold Mirror, which will reflect those debuffs instead. And doesn't that sound even more insane? We also got this too, which means we're going to generate up some gemstones. The only thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to sell our red ruby. We're going to have to sell our snowballs, and we're going to have to sell both our twines. As mad as that is, because I really do want to grab this. But I'm definitely going to craft up that Cold Mirror. That Cold Mirror is going to be nuts for us. Reflecting the poison that we do inflict on ourselves. Hell yeah, should be insane. But our opponent is going to be inflicting a turbo amount of blind on us. So I'm glad we do get a small bit of cold, or a small bit of luck. I mean, I got cold on the brains. But as long as we get some luck, our accuracy should be okay to hit our opponents. And you know what? Our opponent does resurrect with that Dark Lantern. But that's some crazy debuffs, and hell yeah. Not too bad. That's a second freaking dead sight. Also, puzzle bag of energy. I'm gonna be completely honest, fitting in on our dead sight would be amazing. We would be inflicting even more poison, but the stamina cost is gonna be kind of crazy, isn't it? 0.6 with 0.7. I know we get a bunch of stamina. You know what? Actually, with our level up, we get crazy stamina back. With our Mercury Elemental as well. So I think we can potentially take it. But this round, I'm going to sell a pineapple, I'm going to sell you two. Now, do we want to keep the puzzle bag of energy? I mean, if we sell this in our flame, we can take this and we can craft up this pair of Divine Boots. Doesn't mean our protectable person is not going to be in the right spot. But I think we should be in a pretty good spot with this. We're going to definitely grab our Dead Sight. We should build our fund, some of the mana we do use with a Free Winds Guide to Ice, along with our Badger too, and we should be able to generate up a lot of mana from here, even more than we were generating up before. But with our Cold Mirror, we should be able to reflect crazy amount of debuffs, and we should be able to cleanse all those debuffs with our new pair of boots. So honestly, yeah, this should be amazing. Even taking on this hammer dagger type action with 58% chance to stun too. It's not looking too bad. And that's another puzzle bag of endurance with a freaking bird also. The bird is nuts because that's going to remove some luck. Now I'm going to be honest, with a bird, I don't necessarily want to be speeding up our dead side at all, really. But if we're taking another dead side, then we can't really have a bird targeting our Mercury Elemental as much as I love to. So I think I'd actually rather have a bird target these items. More so, I'd love to have it on our Ice Dragon also. So maybe we'll sort this out. But this puzzle bag of endurance I'd love to keep for boots, but I'm going to sell it. Along with this too. And if we sell our bird, we can straight up just take our dead side. I mean, in terms of our layout, this is looking pretty darn decent. Now, never mind the bags, I'll sort out the bags now in a second, but with our bird is going to be targeting pretty much all the items we do want to target, except our weapons. So that's the whole reason why I did want to put a bird in here. It's also going to remove luck to make our opponents also have a tougher time dealing with that accuracy down. Now I'm also going to sell this. I also really want to sell you two, and I'm going to have to sell either our burning coal, which I think we're going to have to do, and then we're going to take this also. Now I didn't really account for spiked wall being so freaking massive, but it's pretty much going to be our layout. The only problem is we do need to fix our bags right now. So I'll be back in a second while I do that. So we did change the setup around so we can have our puzzle bags of endurance increase in Waterstone's capots. But I think this is probably going to be our best setup. Ice Dragon going to be here as well, which is going to be triggered in our bag of giving. I'd much rather have a different item inside, but Ice Dragon is going to have to do. Hedgehog also going to be here. We're going to have our bird target all these items, which should be amazing. We're also going to sell you so we can grab this with the storage and place in our big old banana. And with that, I'm going to venture on with this for now. So we should be in a pretty good spot to just turbo inflict a crazy sort of poison. And with our boots, we should be able to cleanse those debuffs, which should be amazing, and that's 74 poison. Our Darksaber should be able to deal some big old damage, 115 poison within 10 seconds, and unfortunately our opponent did manage to beat us out, which I definitely did not expect, and holy moly, there's a moon shield. Do we get rid of our spiked wall for it? We also got ourselves a Deadlows, which will generate more stamina for us, which is even more awesome. Puzzle bag of love I'm going to sell. And do we sell this? 7 golds? That's 10 golds. I mean, a moon armor with our Mercury Elemental, if we can fit in beside it, will just generate up more mana. So we have infinite mana. Spiked wall is great and all, but I'm going to sell it. Along with this big red ruby, and let's go ahead and finally take our shield. So now our bird is in a slightly worse spot, but once we get our moon shield in, we should be able to block some ranged weapons and also just generate up insane amounts of mana, which means our Darksaber should just have enough mana to keep inflicting that blind, but also have her potentially stack up a big mana buff bomb if we grab ourselves another mana orb. But we should also get even more block with our shield on our Mercury Elemental too. But can we beat opponents? I mean, they're going to resist a lot of debuffs, so that poison is going to be tougher to stack up. But hell yeah, Darksaber putting in some awesome work once again. Now we also got ourselves a Crow, which is even more insane. Another puzzle bag of endurance. I mean, at this point, I'm actually going to take it. I'm going to sell this so we can grab this bit of storage, place you back in, and now all of a sudden this Crow wants to sit in a slightly different position. But I'm going to roll once. We're also going to sell the spear. And wondering, should we take this cupcake? Being on sale for 3, I might as well take it. I'm not sure if we do want any of these items. All I want to do is find a single mana orb. Maybe we should take out our bag of giving to try and find that. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's take it out. Let's roll. None of these items I do want to grab. We sell the bird. We roll again. And unfortunately, this is possibly where we're going to have to just move on. We didn't get a mana orb, but that's going to be okay. We do have a Crow in this spot. Now it is going to speed up all our weapons, which is not what we want. But increasing the debuffs we do inflict with our Mercury Elemental, the blind we do inflict also, I think it should be pretty darn sweet. Definitely so. But let's see. Now our opponent is going to resist a lot of poison with his gloves. It's going to be super fast, double axe with a ton of heals. Well, that's 58 poison. And 84 poison, still going up. Our freaking Darksaber dealing some insane damage, and just as I went to check, we did manage to win out, dealing 64 damage. Definitely not too bad. And that's a freaking Ice Bite. Frostbite. What the hell am I saying? It's a Frostbite. Now again, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to sell this and a Frostbite. We're going to roll. Let's go ahead and grab you Amulets of Energy, which is honestly not bad. We'll keep rolling. Keep rolling. 1 mana orb. We could grab the treasure, but I'm just going to keep rolling. Now at this point, I'm also just tempted to grab this Unidentified Amulet. Another lightsaber could have been amazing too. We sell the banana though. And do we sell our cupcake to go ahead and grab our Unidentified Amulet? I think so. Amulet Steel. It is an Amulet Life, which is honestly not great. We don't get too much heals. I'm going to sell it to keep rolling. But I'm going to roll once more. And that's a mana orb. And a pair of leather boots. I mean, I'd love to take another pair of leather boots, but that's that mana orb. We can get a big mana bomb, giving us a huge win con, which should be even better for us. The only problem is, what do we get rid of? Do we get rid of our Hyper Hedgehog? I mean, this fella deals a lot of damage based on how much power we do have. I'm not sure what we can sell. Also, we could be increasing our Reflect chance from our Cold Mirror 2 instead of our Block chance. I mean, doesn't that seem kind of nuts actually? Do we sell our Hyper Hedgehog? I mean, it's kind of like a pair of boots, giving us 3 in power and 35 block. But this also gives us crazy damage reduction from ranged weapons. So we either sell our Freeman's Got Ice, which I don't necessarily really want to do, and we sell all these gemstones as well. And I think that's probably what we're going to do. And I'm going to place our mana orb in this spot too. And this is it. This is going to be final builds. I'd love to grab one final pair of boots, but didn't expect to be playing this Darksaber Deadside type situation with the Mercury Elemental, with Fortuna's Kiss also, which I kind of want to place this in, but 30% chance on a 20% chance, it's going to be like 24% chance increase, isn't it? Or 26? 26% chance, going from 20% to 26. It's not bad, but I also just like having that increased damage reduction from our Moon Shield. So we take less damage, so we can stack up our debuffs even more safer. But hey, it is what it is. Let's go and see if this is going to be good enough. Can we win out? We should have a high chance. Now we are facing a Snake double Ruby Chunks. We're going to have crazy max life. We're going to have lots of scaling damage with Defensive Fencing Rapier, and we're going to get some block with the gloves too. And now if they get 12 heat as well, we're going to have a chance to stun us with those Ruby Chunks. But 4 seconds in, almost 40 poison with 3 blind. Not as much blind as I liked it. We're also taking away some of their luck, and that's 72 poison, and it's still going up. Now we are inflicting a turbo amount of poison on ourselves, but we're also reflecting quite a bit too. But can we still run out? 140 poison, and it's not going to be close. Hell yeah. So we actually ended up winning 80 DPS, which is not bad. Definitely not bad, being our Darksaber, our Poison, our Deadside, Ice Dragon. Definitely not bad. Our opponent did have 60 DPS, but in terms of heals, again, very little heals. We managed to get 100 max life stacked up. And in terms of block, we did manage about 620 block, being our Mercury Elemental, Ice Dragon, Stone Shoes, Hyper Hedgehog, all adding up to 620 block. But hey, definitely super fun builds, and we did survive 4 layers left. Let's go and see just how much rank points did we manage to get. Should we take our 6? Definitely not, plus 29. Our rank is back up to Masters and more once again. But anyways, I'm going to have to leave you here for now. Just want to say thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even subscribing. And I hope to keep looking for the next one. I'll see you next time. Okay, we're back in some round 18 fights, and we're going to see how this build can actually perform in some big round 18 fights. Now we're facing a Paradise Burb Card Goober type situation with stones. That's their whole build. They're going to be trying to deal as much damage with these stones to get a bunch of block. But hell yeah. Can we deal with a Burning Blade Dragon type situation with shielded? They're going to be eating up all our stamina, which is a bit problematic. But we got a bunch of our block being anti-stun, and then our dragons are going to do very little damage thanks to our Stone Shoes. Give us time to stack over poison, deal our damage, and amazing. Now can we deal with this Darksaber type build with a turtle? With Paradise Burb, with the bird, they're going to try to inflict a bunch of debuffs. They're going to try to get as much speed as possible, but as long as we slow them down just a little bit, the turtle is going to not be as effective for them. And that's 134 poison right now with 20 blind. And can we win out? 200 poison? Hell yeah we can. Not bad.